Hey, what's shaking everyone? My name is Jex, and we are talking about Mei's adventures in Overwatch. Now, first of all, I'd like to apologize because I'm very aware that this video is kind of late. The news about Mei's adventures dropped yesterday, but unfortunately, around the time it dropped, I had to go to work, and I work a rather late job, so by the time I get back home, I'd much rather go to sleep than spend hours and hours on end making a video. So I do apologize. I know it's kind of selfish, but it's what it is, and I hope you guys understand. So to begin, we're talking about Mei's adventures, and it has some Chinese on the side. If you don't know what that means, it essentially says like a little girl's adventure diary or adventure journal. Now for the first entry, October 24th, it says Ni Hao, which means hello or hi in Mandarin. Alright, so let's begin. I'm starting this journal, not sure who's going to want to read this, but it was the idea of my colleague Winston. So there you go, right off the bat, Mei knows who Winston is. Just like how Tracer knows who Winston is, everyone knows who Winston is. She's also doing the journal because she wants to pass the time, and so-and-so, okay, at the bottom of the paragraph, isn't the greatest conversationalist. Now, that is actually Chinese for Snowball. So someone named Snowball doesn't really talk. What I'm getting from this is that Snowball probably isn't a person, because that's kind of a weird name to give someone. And my apologies if your name's actually Snowball. If you're offended, you know, I apologize. Anyway, Snowball is likely to be her pet or something. I'm guessing a dog. So she goes on to introduce herself as Mei. She specializes in abnormal climate phenomena and other boring sciencey stuff, and cares about taking care of the world, preserving it for future generations, all that good stuff. Alright, so she talks about being in the Yukon near Mount Logan testing her new gear. So, where is the Yukon or Mount Logan, you ask? Well, the Yukon is actually a territory in northwest Canada, not to be confused with Northwest Territories. That's a different territory on its own, but enough of that. Mount Logan is right over in this little corner by Alaska. October 30th, back in civilization. So she decides to skip the trip back to town, or find the helicopter trip back to town, and goes for a hike instead. And she wanted to try some things out with what she's calling an endothermic diffuser. More on that later. Part of the trail was impassable and would have required me to take a big detour, but not today. I just built my own walkway with the diffuser and went right across it. It's going to be a great help in the mountains. Alright, so let's break down what this endothermic diffuser could possibly be. So endothermic refers to the absorption of energy, not necessarily heat, and some good endothermic processes, like some good examples would be, say, the evaporation of water, or what I think this case will be, melting ice. Now, diffuse refers to spreading over an area, so when you put it together, an endothermic diffuser, I think, is likely to be a device that will be able to melt ice over an area. Now, she says part of the trail was impassable and would require a huge detour, so she uses the diffuser to create a walkway, and also says that it will be a big help in the mountains. So, what we can draw from this is that she's in the Yukon, and she used the diffuser to create a walkway for herself. My best guess is that, of course, the Yukon is really cold, so I'm assuming what was blocking her path, what was causing the detour, was, say, a massive block of ice. And the way she deals with it is by using her diffuser, which effectively melts ice and creates a walkway for her to continue. Alright guys, so that's enough of my crappy science lesson. Let's continue. She'll be taking a short break and then heading to Asia to look for the abandoned Overwatch research stations. Obviously, she's gonna get caught up with all this crazy Overwatch payload and point capture battles somehow. I think this is where she'll eventually stumble onto something there and get caught up in the whole mess, because based on all these journal logs, it ends on November 2nd, which was just yesterday when we got this news. So I think as of right now, she hasn't been caught up in any Overwatch related stuff, and she's solely a scientist, although she might, simply because of her connection to Winston, so there's still a chance that she's already connected to Overwatch somehow, but only time will tell. October 31st, Los Angeles, USA. Okay, so this post isn't too important, nothing too interesting. She talks about a movie called Six Gun Killer, which, who knows, maybe there will be a movie poster in one of the maps, but I'm not expecting anything too big out of this, so I don't think it's very important. But what did catch my attention is she's such a sucker for old-fashioned films, and I love Olivia Rye. That is a little more interesting because Olivia Rye may be, and I'm just guessing here, but she might become a hero revealed later on down the road. No guarantee, but considering that they already have an esports player like Diva or a musician like Lucio as heroes, I wouldn't be surprised if they had an actor or actress as a hero as well. November 2nd, a long way to go. So right over here it says hello or hi in either Nepali or Hindi. I'm gonna lean more towards Nepali just because you talk about going to Asia for the mountains. And, well, what comes to mind for me is, like, you know, the Himalayas, so that's why I assume this is Nepali. Everything's been crazy since I landed. I'm making last minute preparations. My goal is to stay up in the mountains for as long as I can. And it is the most difficult climb I've tried. She'll write some more when she gets underway, but for now, check out the view, and she gives you this nice little photograph here of the mountains, so it's a pretty nice place. Now that brings us to the end of the journal, but something you should note is this image going around that people believe is actually Mei-Ling herself. So over in the bottom right, you can see, because there are a bunch of Overwatch hero silhouettes, some of them we know, some of them we don't know, but the one towards the bottom right with that ice pick looking thing and that other crazy machine, I think this is probably her. Obviously the ice pick says a lot, and that machine I think could be her Endothermic Diffuser. That might even be her weapon in the game. I assume it is, otherwise why would they talk about it so much? And it's for why her hair looks kinda crazy. I think it's because she's wearing a hood or something, and it's one of those, like, winter jackets where it has like a really furry like outline on the hood to keep you really warm, which I've never worn any of those myself, but they do look pretty warm. I don't think I would actually ever need to wear one. But make of it what you will. I wasn't expecting to see so many hero reveals like all right before BlizzCon in such a short time. I mean, now we've had Glitchbot, we've had Diva, and now we have Mei-Ling. Some crazy stuff's going on, I will tell you that. And I hope they can just get on with BlizzCon instead of teasing all this stuff, because it's really killing me. But anyway, thank you again for watching. My name is Jex, and I'm still somehow surviving on day, what is it? Day 8 without the beta.